border safe now? I was watching a news channel and they were talking about an invasion was happening, and I got a little concerned.
Look, the border is secure. We are working to make the border more secure. That has been a historic challenge.
You know, it's sad, man. It's real sad, you know, that I gotta bring up these underground situations, underground stories that mainstream media won't even touch. This southern border right here is the worst in history. That's what Alejandro Mayorkas just said. Department of Homeland Security just said this is the biggest challenge in history. But at the same token, he said that the border is secure. So which one is it? Is the border secure, or is this the biggest challenge in history? Whereas the borders are Kamala Harris, whereas our president, our grandpa in chief, Joe Biden, absent at the southern border. Yet we're dealing with the most drugs crossed ever, most illegals, about 2 million illegals since January 2021. That's the size of a major city or a small state. We got human sex trafficking out the wazoo, little boys, little girls. Media silent. But when the bad man Trump was in there, media was all over the border, man. So what we've been trying to say about letting these things happen and going light on these things is that it comes to be a burden on the taxpaying citizen and on the systems, on homeless shelters, on schools, on jobs and whatnot. Now, but you were called a racist, a bigot, a xenophobe. You were called all these names when you called out basic common sense. Not even about race, because everybody's come through the border. Asians, Africans, Europeans, South Central Americans, everybody from the world is coming through our vulnerable southern border. So now we got DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, now feeling the brunt and saying what we're saying what we've been saying this whole time. Take a look at DC Mayor Muriel Bowser on how the illegals got tricked on coming to DC.
The Washington Post reported last week that homeless shelters in D.C. were filling up, and groups were getting overwhelmed by these buses that the governors of Texas and Arizona are sending here full of migrants. How significant is this influx? How many people?
Well, this is a very significant issue. We have for sure called on the federal government to work across state lines to prevent people from really being tricked into getting on buses. We think they're largely asylum seekers who are going to final destinations that are not Washington, D.C. I worked with the White House to make sure that FEMA provided a grant to a local organization that is providing services to folks. But I fear that they're being tricked into nationwide bus trips when their final destinations are places all over the United States of America.
Okay, you heard that, you seen that. Listen to New York City Mayor Eric Adams saying that this is a burden on the shelters.
A real burden on New Yorkers as we're trying to do the right thing. We already, as I stated, we already have an overburdened shelter system. So now we're talking about, as you stated, food, clothing, school. This is going to impact our schools because we do not turn away individuals because they're undocumented. Translation services. There's just a whole host of things that this is going to produce, and that's why we need help in getting this done, and we need the right coordination to make it happen.
Okay, you heard that, you seen that. You got these Democratic mayors complaining about an influx of migrants in their cities. Muriel Bowser, thinks the illegals got tricked into coming to her city. Nah, they ain't get tricked. They was told they was getting bused to DC. They said okay and got bused to DC. New York City, Eric Adams. My man, your city allows this influx of migrants, so deal with it. But I do feel bad for the citizens of DC and New York that have to bear some of the brunt of this influx. It's not fair. Blame your leadership. Blame your mayors. Simple as that. And it's funny, are we going to be, is Muriel Bowser and Eric Adams going to be called racist and all this stuff like that because they calling out this influx, this surge in migrants into their city? I don't think they're going to be called out. Maybe they are going to be called out as being racist. I don't know. What the red states and border states was saying was that, look, this is a burden on our systems. They like, deal with it, y'all good, wooty wooty woot. But when it's at your front doorstep, then what? Now you complaining, right? Look, so much to talk about, man. This border is the worst it's been in American history. Mark my words. Look up the numbers. Right there in black and white. Fentanyl, #1 killer, men aged 18 to 45. Forget a COVID. I don't want to hear about COVID no more. It's so much to talk about, man. You got AOC getting fake arrested. You got good guys with guns killing the bad guys with guns, which media don't want to talk about. We all know that. It goes against their narrative. But look, I'm going to cut it short. I got things to do, man. And we need more leaders and less followers. I'm out.